It was Texas, it was Tennessee.
Howdy, folks. Welcome in. You have arrived at the Texas to Tennessee podcast. My name's Steve. Up above, that Soul Gravy.
Howdy.
It's his show, so make sure and be nice to him. If you're on YouTube or Facebook or anywhere, thank you for joining. Tonight, very excited to have Sophie Gault joining us. Welcome in, Sophie.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Most folks don't want to stick around and just listen to Soul Gravy and I, so this is way better since you're here. Sophie, if you don't mind just taking a couple minutes and maybe giving us a little bit of your backstory so we can get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, I am a songwriter from Maryland originally, and I've been living in Nashville for 11 years, and got 2 albums out. One's called Delusions of Grandeur, and the other one's called Baltic Street Hotel, and I just released my second album last fall, and so I've been doing a little bit of touring and trying to get it out there. And yeah, that's basically where I'm at.
Cool. Well, we have a bunch of questions for you tonight, but before we get to that, I think this is everybody's favorite part of the show. Well, probably not, but it's Soul Gravy's favorite for sure. We are going to quiz Soul Gravy on famous folks from kind of close to where you're from. So
Okay.
feel free, if you know any of these folks, feel free to hop in and tell us all about them. But Soul Gravy, we are going to Prince George's County in Maryland. So north and east and south, a little bit of D.C. So the other side of D.C. to the right, if that makes sense.
Okay.
About 1 million folks in that county. So there's a decent chance you might know a few of these.
Okay.
You ready?
All right. Yeah, I'm yes.
All right, Lynn
Definitely
Bias.
Lynn. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I mean, I know that name, and I don't know why I do. I know it's a sports figure.
He's a sports guy, yeah, for sure.
And
We got a
I
few
can't-
sports guys here.
I can't remember why. Why do I know? I can't remember. I know this was kind of before my time, really.
Lynn, he
I
was
think.
a top pick of the Celtics who passed away from a little cocaine incident. So
Gotcha.
you would have been young, but it was a big deal. He was in the same class, I think, as Mr. Jordan.
Okay. I
Wow.
gotcha. So I
Okay.
was young. Okay.
All right, Riddick Bowe.
Riddick Bowe is a boxer.
There you go. Nice. 1 for 2.
right.
Sergey Brin.
I'm not familiar with Sergey, I don't think.
Sergey's the founder of Google.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's pretty cool, right?
All right, PG County.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah.
I think you know this one. Michael
Okay.
Beasley.
Michael Beasley is a basketball player.
He is. The rumor is LeBron could never beat him one-on-one.
In practice or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting. Sophie, Soul Gravy told me if I joined, I'd get to talk a little bit of sports, so I apologize. This is a heavy sports lineup tonight. But
No, he just thinks that I have a better chance of getting them if they're sports related. So,
all right, well, we're going to give you a little bit more culture here. Chuck
Okay.
Brown.
Chuck Brown. I'm not familiar with Charles, I don't think.
Sophie, do you know about go-go music?
A little bit.
Yeah, well, it's kind of
Not
originated
much.
out of Prince George County.
No, really?
Yeah. So people
Well,
like Wale.
wow.
I don't know if you're familiar with his work, but yeah, that go-go music is big in the D.C. Baltimore.
Okay.
Wow.
Yep.
I didn't
right.
know that.
A couple more. Kevin Durant.
I'm familiar with
Familiar
Kevin
with
Durant.
Kevin?
Yes, he's
All
a
right.
basketball player.
Great basketball
A really good one.
All right, here's another one. This one will be a little tougher. Roger Easton.
Is Roger the founder of the baseball bat company?
It's a great guess, but no.
Then I don't think I do.
Okay, he was naval scientist, chief inventor of GPS.
Okay.
A lot
Whoa.
of technology.
I
coming
would
out of
say
it.
that GPS is more important than a baseball bat, but
Right. Well, probably. How
It's a
about
lot of
Kathy?
technology and a lot of athletes.
Yes, 100%. Kathy Lee Gifford.
Yeah, I'm familiar with her work.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
exactly what all she did,
Yeah.
but I know she was on TV and she was married to Frank.
Yeah.
All right. That is correct. Genuine.
I'm familiar with Genuine's music.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Isn't
All
that
right.
Pony?
All right.
Isn't that
Yeah.
his song?
Yeah.
Genuine.
Yep, for sure.
All right.
Goldie Hawn.
I'm familiar with Goldie
All
Hawn.
right. You're doing pretty good, Soul
She was a
Gravy.
little overboard.
Holy hot.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Ah,
I got you. Jim Henson.
okay, he was the I guess you would artist founder. I don't know what his title would be
Puppeteer.
of the Muppets.
That's right.
Muppets.
All right. I got
I always say it wrong, I think.
just a couple more. Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah, he was a boxer.
A pretty good
Familiar with
boxer.
Sugar.
Martin Lawrence.
I'm
That's
familiar
right.
with Shanae. Yeah.
And then I'm going to give you one more. This one's a little harder.
Okay.
Francis Tiafoe.
I don't think I'm familiar with Francis.
He's one of the best tennis players in the world right now. So
Well,
shout out.
you know where
Oh,
my
wow.
limits are,
All
and
right.
tennis usually does not. I know like 3 tennis players.
All right. Well, I'm gonna actually I have one more because
Uh-oh.
this one is from Ocean City, which I think is relatively close to where. So
Oh, that's where I went to high school.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Spiro Agnew.
Yeah.
Okay, that name sounds really
No
familiar.
idea.
I don't know why, but I'm not sure who he is.
He was a vice president, so shout out to Spiro.
Okay, that's
I think
not
he
the
was-
person I was
Wow.
thinking of.
Yeah, it would have been in the 60s, early 70s, maybe.
Okay.
So, yeah, pre-Soul
Wow.
Gravy. All right, Sophie, thank
I'm
you
a
very much
81
for
model.
letting
That
us.
was interesting and educational. I really like that. That was good.
All right, well, you're the first person out of 110 episodes that said that, so
That
thank you,
liked it.
Sophie. We appreciate
I
that.
knew somebody would like it.
I know it was a matter of time. It was just a matter of time.
All right.
All right, well, we're gonna get into some of the musical questions. This first one is one we ask everybody, and it's a little strange, but you just have to bear with me. So this one's called the pie question, and we're gonna ask you to divide up your music business or everything that you do in terms of music into 4 sections. So 4 slices of pie.
Okay.
The first section is song creation or songwriting. The second section is recording. Third section is performing. And the fourth section is everything else that has to do with running your music business that doesn't fit into one of those first 3 sections.
Okay.
The first part of the question is, where do you naturally gravitate? What is it that you feel like, hey, this is what I'm best at, or this is what I enjoy the most?
It's definitely between the writing and creating part and the performing part for me.
Okay.
Recording is fun. It's like my second favorite part of the process. Once I have all the stuff down and everything, I have all the songs written. Recording is its own. It's a fun part of the process. But yeah, I think definitely maybe performing. I think that might be my favorite, like the touring aspect and go and play these little clubs all over the country and like playing in front of, wearing the songs in and stuff. And like, I think that's my favorite part of the process.
So, at what point did you maybe realize that the performing thing, I mean, did you feel like, oh, I got the bug at this age or at some point in my life where I kind of knew like, hey, this is what I want to do?
I think early on, I played some talent shows in high school. It was probably when I realized that I had the bug. Like I had been playing guitar since I was like 12, but I remember this one high school talent show. I played in front of the auditorium or whatever at all these people. And, I didn't have any booze or anything to help me, like now I drink before I play in front of a lot of people. It helps me calm my nerves. But back then when I was in high school, I wasn't drinking. And I just remember getting this rush of adrenaline. And I played this Keb Mo song in front of all these people and they started clapping. And it was like, this magical moment. And I just, from then on, I was like, yeah, I'm like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, very cool. What, in terms of performing, like a rough guess, how many live shows are you knocking out in a given month or year?
It varies. Like if I'm like this past month, I was on the road a lot. So I've played a lot of shows, and like I'll try to book gigs in town in Nashville to kind of warm me up for whenever I'm leaving town. So I probably played like 20 shows or something like that this month. Um,
That's a
just
lot.
play wherever I can. And like it's hard to book shows nowadays. Touring's not easy. Like booking isn't easy, but sometimes I'll get lucky. I'll have a big month. And this past month was a pretty big one for me.
Right.
I have nothing lined up for the summer, so it'll probably be a slow couple of months coming up. But I try to play out in Nashville as much as I can because you got to keep you got to keep it sharp. And if it's not like you kind of lose it, or at least I do. If I don't do it as often as I can, I'll get rusty and forget my words and just not be as good. So I try to play out as much as I can.
Makes sense. Do you have a specific, I don't know, geographic part of the country that you feel like, oh, my stuff hits a little bit better here, or?
It's interesting. It's like I can never really predict where it's gonna really connect. I usually feel really good after I get back from Texas. I've had a lot of really good experiences down there. I just played Saxon Pub for the first time
Oh,
and
very
had a
cool.
really great time there. Oklahoma City, I played this place called the Blue Door. That was nice. Um, I played this place in Yorkville, Illinois, of all places. It's called
Okay.
the Law Office. And I had a really good night there, really good crowd. So I'm always surprised because I'm not like a huge touring veteran. I try to go out as much as I can, but a lot of these places are new to me and I'm not familiar with the market there. I don't know the people. And so sometimes it's surprising where it'll really hit,
Yeah,
and
makes
I
sense.
never really know.
Are you at the point where you are providing support on a lot of shows, or are you taking folks with you, or are you letting local venues take care of that, or is it just kind of
Yeah, I'm
situational?
kind of mostly the opening act. I'm mostly the support these days, and sometimes I'll go out on my own and, if I'm booking a show out of town, I'll try to get a local act to be on the bill with me.
Right.
That's
Pulling
kind
some
of how I'll
folks.
do it. But yeah, I'm not at the point where I'm bringing people out with me yet.
Yeah. All right. That's cool. Well, I do want to talk a little bit about songwriting, if you don't mind. One of
Yeah.
the interesting things, I think, it seems like almost everybody that we get the chance to chat with kind of has a little bit different approach in terms of um, getting the songs out, out of you and out onto paper or however you do it. But I'm curious how you go about kind of what your process looks like, or anything that you could share with us.
Yeah. I think it's constantly changing. Like I wouldn't say I have um, a steady process that I always follow. But sometimes I'll just try to find a melody first and then fill in the blanks with the lyrics. Or sometimes I'll have words first and I'll wait around until I have a good enough melody to fit the words to. It's really a strange process, and I haven't really put my finger on it. It's kind of a magical process. Like it kind of strikes. It comes from nowhere, a
Right.
lots of times, and chasing that feeling that's elusive is kind of what it's all about for me. It's some people write every day, and I try to write as often as I can. I don't really write every day. I kind of go out and live my life and collect ideas and feelings and live my life. And then I'll write scraps of things, and eventually I'll go and sit down and like try to make sense of everything. But some people write every day. I think that's a great method too, because then if you write every day, eventually when you are inspired, you're already in the routine of it.
Makes
So
sense.
everybody does it differently. I haven't really figured out the best way yet.
Whatever works. Well, not to get too granular, but I am curious. Are you like physically handwriting it down, or are you notes in the phone, or a little bit of both? Or
Yeah, I use the Notes app. When I write, when I physically write a song down, it's when I've already written the song.
it's already
And then
then
I'll
you've
write
got it.
it
Okay,
down just to have it. But when I'm still writing it and it's sort of like scraps of the song, it'll always be in my Notes app on my phone.
nice. And then I guess more of just another follow up. Are you pretty protective of your writing, or do you like to kind of collaborate with others, or still figuring that out, or
Yeah, sometimes I'll co-write with people, not often. And it's not so much that I'm protective, it's just that I'm really introverted and it's kind of hard for me to just like open up around other people about
sure?
topics that are really personal and stuff like that. Like it's just I've never enjoyed it very much. But there have been instances where I do co-writes. I just don't prefer it. I like to be alone in my headspace.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I'm curious. We learned all about all of the people that are from your area.
Yeah.
uh, not to put a date on it necessarily, but how old were you when you decided to make that trip to Nashville?
Um, I was uh 21 and
Okay.
I had just no, I hadn't even graduated college yet. I kind of took a leave of absence from college and I had to do an internship for my school and somehow knew these people through someone else that had the studio in Nashville. So I did like a summer internship there, making coffee for people and answering phones and stuff. And I just stayed. Like I didn't plan on staying. I didn't really want I always thought I would move somewhere else, but I just ended up staying for I've been there 11 years now. So
I got you. So it wasn't I'm gonna move to Nashville to you weren't
not
necessarily
really.
intending on what you're trying to do right now. Huh.
Right. I didn't know what I was going to do at that time. Like I had a huge passion for music and songwriting, but I didn't even I'd probably written two or three songs by that time. Like I wasn't a serious
Hmm.
songwriter at all. So I was just kind of trying to figure things out and maybe learn how to write songs better or something. I didn't really have a plan.
Understood. W- I guess kind of how did you get to the point where you got that first album under your belt? That kind of a rundown on how you got
Yeah.
from I don't really know what I want to do to I got an album.
Yeah, it's an interesting story for sure. I had kind of given up on the idea of music entirely because I just, you know, I'm not really a social networker. I was never looking for a record deal. Like I didn't even really understand how the industry operated. I just was down there in Nashville and was working different jobs. I worked at an animal hospital. I worked at all these different restaurants. And I was just kind of sick of like always struggling to pay rent. So I was like, well, I was like, I'm going to go to grad school. So I moved to Murfreesboro and I signed up for the master's program to be a teacher down there. And my first semester in, um, someone who I knew from, like 10 years prior from up in New York when I lived in New York, messaged me and asked me if I was still doing music. And I said yes. I was kind of like as a hobby, and I had some recordings. And he turns out he was starting a record label, and he was like, "Well, send me what you have." So I sent him what I had, And he was like, wow, I really like these. We could just release these as they are. If you're interested, let's do it. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I'm not invested in this at all. I have no desire to even do this anymore. And so it just kind of like gained momentum from there, because he hired this publicist and this whole team and everything, and was going to release this music. And I wasn't even looking for that. And so when it got released and I started getting press and I started getting more gigs, and like there was positive feedback, I was like kind of hooked on it at that point. So I was kind of, I lived in Murfreesboro, which is like half an hour away from Nashville. So I moved back to Nashville, started kind of assembling some musicians, started brushing up on old songs. And the guy at the label was like, well, do you have enough songs for an album? Because at that point we just did an EP. And so I was like, yeah, I think I have enough for an album. And that's when the album Delusions of Grandeur came to be. That was after the first EP was released and I had moved back to Nashville, and I found all these musicians, and we just got together and recorded an album, and I didn't think anything of it. We did that, and then there was more press with that, and it got the attention of Ray Kennedy. And then he did my second album. So yeah, it's been a pretty interesting journey. Like, I had quit music pretty much completely.
And
I was I was like maybe 28 when that happened.
oh, okay. All right. So it had been you were in town for a while then.
I had been in town for a long time, yeah.
And so recently, I know you've been doing well, you probably have been doing them for a while, but they just come across my radar because of some other folks that you're linked to. But I've seen you've done writers rounds and things like that lately. How
Mhm.
I know you said you're a little introverted on the co-writing part, but how are you as far as getting in that situation, being in a round with 3 or 4 other peers?
Yeah, I love those writers rounds when it's people I know really well. Like, I'm doing one in a couple days with Gabe Lee and Zach Meadows, who both of them I've toured with at this point, and we know each other pretty well. And you get a good dialogue happening on stage, which is fun. It's fun for us. It's fun for the audience.
And
And like, there's sort of like the ice is already broken.
That's what I was gonna say. Gabe seems to be able to break the ice in the room pretty easy. He's got that kind of
Yes.
personality about him.
Yeah, he's really good at it. I've learned a lot from him just by watching him and touring with him. Like, he has this presence that's undeniable, and he just is so good about the stories between songs and making people in the audience feel comfortable. And so I've learned a lot by watching him.
He seems to carry himself the same off stage as on stage. It's like there's not really
Yeah.
there might be a switch flip, but he seems to kind of be, I guess, comfortable with who he is on and off stage or something like that.
He is. I can
Zach,
attest to that. He definitely, yeah.
That's cool. That's the vibe I got anyway from seeing him live and then having him on the podcast. And then Zach Meadows, we had him on way early on, and I think we were both blown away by him. A different story than a lot of folks. Different sound as well, but man, he's ridiculously good.
Yeah.
You've done more rounds with him, right? Or was that just the same thing?
Well, we went on a tour together recently down in Texas. So we spent a lot of time in the car traveling down there. And I've done rounds with them here and there. I'd say probably Gabe more, because I've been on many different tours with Gabe. And I used to play in his band playing guitar. So I've spent a lot more time around Gabe. But I've gotten to know Zach pretty well. And they're both just great people. Like, they're people I love to hang out with.
You got something there, Tabo?
I do. Sophie, for somebody who maybe hasn't seen your live show, how would you describe it? I guess maybe one that's a full band show and maybe one that's an acoustic kind of setup.
Yeah, they're kind of two different sets of music now at this point. I just recently did a couple shows in New York City with the full band, and it's not always the same band, but I kind of have the same arrangements with the songs, and you know, we'll jam out. I play a little lead guitar, so it can get pretty rocking and fun, and I have some up tempo songs that I'll do off the albums that are really fun to do live with a great band, great rhythm section. And so we'll kind of jam out, and it'll be, you know, kind of, you know, country rock, you know, honky tonk kind of early Stone sound. And when I do the solo acoustic stuff, it's more intimate, and it's a lot of like acoustic finger picking type stuff, and I feel like my voice shines more on the acoustic stuff because it's just so bare. It's like there's a lot more space going on. So I like them both for different reasons. I have more fun playing with the band, I think, but playing solo, definitely you can kind of see a different layer to my music than you would if you saw the band.
And I don't know if you can talk just a little bit about, I'm not sure everybody understands or spends time thinking about what it takes to kind of manage a band. Can you talk a little bit about some of the challenges that might pop up, or is it just
Yeah,
super easy
I
street for
mean,
you?
yeah, it's really hard. It's not for the faint of heart. Especially at the stage I'm in with my career, like being in a band, you know, it's not what people think. Like, you're not in a band that we all practice together all the time. It's like you're paying people to play for you, and they're basically your employees, and you have to pay them a certain amount every gig, which is kind of an insane endeavor these days because, you know, especially if you live in Nashville, like gigs don't pay in Nashville. Like, you're not making money. So it's out of your own pocket. Every time you play a gig, you're basically paying several $100s a gig to play the gig with a band. And people will be like, well, that's insane. Why would you do that? And it's like, well, I mean, the industry now is driven on like content and pictures and photos and videos. And like, and I look at it these days, I look at it like every time I play with a band, it's like a rehearsal in itself. Like, there are no rehearsal. People don't, in Nashville, people don't just get together and rehearse regularly. Right. Like, nobody has the time. Nobody like has the money to be paying for that. Like, everybody's really good, and they can just show up and play. And like,
right.
And that's what I've seen. Like, I'll book a gig just to rehearse, or just to get a video, or just to get some pictures. Like, it's kind of an interesting setup, but at the end of the day, it kind of makes sense too, because everybody's so busy. All the musicians I use are like some of the best musicians in Nashville, and like they're getting calls all the time. So I used to be kind of bitter about it, but I've kind of warmed up to the whole setup that goes on in Nashville, because it just makes sense, you know. But yeah, it's a lot. You know, people are always surprised when they hear how that works, and I'm like, right. Well, it's there's a certain method.
Right.
Well, speaking of bands, I want to give a shout out to somebody that I forgot to when you were talking about Gabe and you were talking about this band, King Margot. I know Steve got to see them with Gabe not long ago, and then they were at Edie Festival, which we'll talk about. But just wanted to give them a shout out too. I know they're in you guys y'all's circle, but as far as band wise, man, they're some talented folks for sure.
Unbelievably good. Like, yeah, they're and they're some of my best friends too. Rachel Luch we've spent many hours in a van on the road together and just have the best fun. And they're so fun to hang out with. And we started a side project. It's not like really set in motion yet, but we're going to call it the Picky Bitches. Because we're like, you know, we all pick some instrument or another. Yeah, so the Picky Bitches, we might come out with an album at some point eventually. We got to write the songs first.
Nah, I love
But
it.
Yeah.
they're incredible. I mean, their songwriting, their musicianship, everything just
Yeah,
top
super
tier.
impressive. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Steve, I know we're getting close to halftime, but it seems like a good, like we've already covered all these folks. It seems like a good time to talk about the Jason Eady's way down in Mississippi
Oh yeah,
Festival.
for sure. Far away.
Can you kind of, from an artist point of view, give folks that's a really unique situation and setup and everything, and I'm curious from your point of view how you would explain that 3 days to somebody that might want to go.
Yeah. Well, the first time I went, I had never been down to Clarksdale before. So
Right.
for me, it was like, wow, this is incredible. Like there's all the tales of the crossroads and everything. And I had to, of course, go and visit the crossroads and all that. But the festival itself, I mean, it takes place on, what's the name of that? It's called Shake.
Yeah, I know. Let's see, Clarksdale.
I forget what the
Shack Up
name
Inn.
is
The
now,
Shack
but
Up Inn.
Shack Up Inn, right? Which is a really interesting place. It's got all these cabins that everyone's staying at a cabin, right? Everyone there pretty much is staying at a cabin, and you just walk around this area, and there's music happening all day, and there's like campfires and just it's not like a usual festival where there's like stages and stuff and everything's so planned. Like it's sort of just like this impromptu kind of fun party atmosphere for 3 days. And there's really good food and good drinks and like it's incredible. Like he's got a really good thing going down there.
So it used to be a cotton gin. One of the places used to be a cotton gin, and then all the others are kind of all the shacks are, I guess, kind of made out to be like sharecroppers shacks from back. I mean, they look the part. It looks the part.
Right.
It is very. They didn't change it up too much. But yeah, like you said, there's one stage, and then, all these different people, they kind of hop in and out of each other's songs, and which was
Yeah.
and then the like you said, the campfire thing. I mean, that seemed to be all of the artists' favorite thing, by the way. Talking to different people with Silverado, Gabe Lee, Jason Eady, Courtney, and you, and King Mark, all these people, and they're all just sitting around the campfire, song swapping, which is
Yeah, it's
where
really
else does
cool.
that happen? So
It's kind of like, what did we all get into music for in the first place? Like, what, we all sat around jamming at some point, and like, you don't really get much of that in Nashville. Places like Nashville, everything's so sort of stiff. It can feel like that. And so when you enter into a situation where you're jamming around a campfire, that's pretty special. And yeah, it's a really cool scene down there.
we just want to make sure we hit on that. We were lucky enough to have Jason come on here, and I went down there last year the first time, and I'm definitely headed back there this November. So if anybody is interested in that, make sure you go and check out Edie's socials and everything. He'll have all that information. But yeah, it's the Way Down to Mississippi Fest. So looking forward to it again this year.
Alrighty, we have zoomed past halftime. I know it feels like it's been 3 hours, Sophie, but it's actually only been 35 minutes. We're going to have you introduce a song that you would like us to listen to, and then we will have you hit the little mute button so we can get a good cut of it. But tell us a little bit about it, if you don't mind.
This song is called Over and Out, and it's off my recent album called Baltic Street Hotel. And this is my favorite track on the album for a lot of reasons. I just love the song, and we recorded it. It was like the first take we did it with the group of musicians, which was Josh Grange, Lynn Williams on drums, and Steve Mackey on bass. And it was the first take, and we were just like, that was magical. We don't even need to do it again. So hope you enjoy.
All right, sounds good.
Here we go.
Hey, are you okay? I've been calling all night, thinking about you all day. I didn't mean to hurt you when I said those things in that way. Don't you know that I'm only human? I'm only doing things the best way I know how, trying to figure it out. Don't give up on me now. Oh, now. Oh, now. You building a spaceship, gonna go to the moon, run away to Mars. Am I gonna have to chase you through an asteroid field up there in the stars? Don't you know that I'm only human? I'm only doing things the best way I know how, trying to figure it out. Don't give up on me now. Oh, oh, don't you know that I'm only human? I'm only doing things the best way I know how, trying to figure it out. Don't give up on me now. I've been calling all night, thinking about you always.
Yeah, man.
Ah, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank.
I had not heard that one yet, but we'll put a little green star next to it and make sure it
Yeah,
gets
it's
more.
buried down there in the track list, which, at first, in the first track list, it was going to be the first song on the album. This is what me and Ray Kennedy came up with. We were like, okay, that's how you start this album off, right? And the label and my new manager at the time, Alex Torres, were like, no, we got to put some up tempo, some rockers first, which is like a very typical way of going about things. And I don't disagree with that either. But the original list was that having that be first.
So a couple, I guess, comments and then a question. Um, the soundscape on that is lovely, and then I really dig the brushes too. Like it fits really nicely together. But do you play that live?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I play a lot live.
nice.
I play it with my band. I play it solo. Yeah.
Good for you. Well, that was one of the questions we had for you in rapid fire. What's an underloved song of yours? And so I think maybe we already answered that. So
Yeah.
everybody, let's make that song not underloved. Do what we can to try to get some activity
Please.
towards that.
So, how often do you hear hear Lucinda Williams comparisons?
A lot. Yeah.
I
I've worked with her producer pretty closely. And so, I also grew up on her music. So
okay.
there's an influence there for sure. Um, when I first heard Lucinda's music, I mean, I was just like, okay, like I can see like a pathway for myself, because it was like, the types of songs she wrote and the way she sang, the phrasing, everything just like made sense to me, because she had a huge blues background and I was like big into blues as a teenager, and
Hmm.
it all suddenly made sense. Like, and she was doing something new with it, creating something very original and unique, and still had all those influences. So I really related to her music a lot as a teenager. And so, yeah, I think people probably hear that in the music.
Yeah, there was. I told him earlier. I was like, there's certain songs I hear Lucinda, then I hear like Sheryl Crow. Both way more Lucinda though, but that's. I mean, that's. I knew that. I knew you'd heard that quite a bit, quite a bit. But
Yeah.
uh, I'm sure that
Another
kind of let you.
too is a guy named Gurf Morlix, who you guys probably know of. Gurf, who's a big Texas guy
Okay.
who played all the guitars on Car Wheels on a Gravel Road. Like,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
huge influence for me. And he's become a good friend. And I've just like learned a lot from him over the years, listening to his music. And he's a great songwriter in his own right. And so that his sound on that album, Car Wheels on a Gravel Road, was probably just as much of an influence on me as Lucinda was. So I'm going to give a shout out to him.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. I've seen him, but I didn't know. I mean, like I've seen him. I'm looking at a picture of him, and I'm like, oh yeah, I recognize it. But
I gotcha.
I should remember that name. That's an amazing name.
Yeah, Blaze Foley gave him that name.
What's
Blaze
that?
Because he
Foley.
used to play guitar with Blaze Foley. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
All right.
And Blaze
Oh, wow.
gave him that name, I think. Yeah.
okay. That's wild. All right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I did want to ask a little bit because we haven't gotten into this, but I'm curious how you go about kind of planning your music and maybe what you might have potentially coming down the road.
Yeah. I've got some things on the horizon. Most um, soon happening is in June. I'm going to be going into the studio with Torres Music Group, Alex Torres, and the session people that he hires when he produces albums. We're going to do a full album together.
Excellent.
It's going to be mostly like rock leaning, so like real early Stones kind of honky tonk style, messy kind of garage rock.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be fun. And we're doing that. And then I have another project I'm working on in the fall that's going to be a lot of different stuff I've collected over the past year or two. And so I'm really excited about that. So just always keep on working on new stuff and releasing
Plus
stuff.
plus the picky bitches.
Yeah, and when
Never
we
know,
bitch
right?
it together, watch out. It's going to be, we're going
It's
to,
gonna be bitching.
So not to pin you down, Sophie, but could we potentially maybe see something this year, or will it roll into next year?
oh yeah, I think a first single is going to be released from this batch of songs with Alex pretty soon. I think in June, he was saying. So
Oh, okay. Wow. You guys have
yeah,
cracked the code.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Mm.
So,
Um, I got a fill-in question for the on the rapid fire too.
Sure.
This is completely not related to what we were talking about, but where you were talking about as far as where you grew up, did you ever cross paths with Josh Morningstar? He had been on the pod and the Baltimore guy, so I was just
oh,
curious.
Baltimore.
Yeah,
Baltimore, I never really spent as much time in, but
understood.
sounds familiar. Yeah, we'd
No,
probably have
that's
some cool friends.
yeah. I'm sure y'all got some of the same circles, but no, I was just curious. He's an interesting guy. He was on the podcast early on, so we appreciate. Before
Cool.
Steve came along, I had to handle that all by myself on that one. But no, I was just curious with the location. Um, what
We
about
read
as far as any tours or shows coming up do you have much of that planned as of right now, or that going to be?
Um,
And I guess where can everyone keep up with that?
yeah. So any shows and stuff are going to be posted. They're going to be on my website because my website's connected to my bands in town, and that's where we put all the shows and stuff. I also post about them on my Instagram, which is connected to my Facebook. So basically, if you're looking for me, whatever platform you use, I'm most likely on there. Or if you just want to go to my website. And yeah, I like I said, the summer's kind of wide open right now. I don't have much in the works in the way of touring at the moment, but I know I have some Texas dates lined up in September
nice.
with a friend of mine, Stacy Antonell. We're gonna go down there. I know we're playing. I think we're playing the Old Quarter in Galveston. That's one for sure happening.
That's a great venue.
So, yeah, I'll keep you updated on the socials.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be looking forward to it. Are we ready for a little rapid fire? Because we are getting
Yeah.
close on time,
Yep.
and if not anything, we want to be respectful. So, all right. So, here are the rapid fire questions. You don't have to hopefully think too hard on these, but first one is, I'm not sure you're old enough for this, but have you ever purchased an album more than once?
Yeah, like a CD or like a vinyl record or
Either, or a tape,
No
or
matter what the format was.
8-track, or I don't know, monophone, whatever.
yeah. I grew up on CDs. That was my method of
Okay.
listening to music.
So
Okay.
what was the CD that you bought more than once?
Oh man, more than once. That's a good
You wore it
question.
out or broke it,
Um,
or
that's an interesting question. I had this copy of Transcendental Blues that a cousin gave me, that I wore out. It was like a burned copy of Transcendental Blues by Steve Earle,
yeah,
Mhm.
and I think went and bought my own copy at some point.
nice. Be
Gotcha.
officially part of the club.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Um, I don't usually ask this one, but I'm curious. What would you be doing if you weren't doing music?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know because I'm not really a school person. I went to grad school and I dropped out because I got my record deal, but I don't know that I would have made it very far even without the record deal because I'm just not wired for that kind of organized education, you know? So I don't know, I'd probably be same thing working in a restaurant. Like I still work in a restaurant now. And I'm lucky they give me a lot of time off to go tour and stuff,
That's
but
great. Yeah.
honestly, that's probably what I would be doing, bartending or working in a restaurant, something that allows me time to be creative at whatever I want to do.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. First concert that you attended, and then the first concert that you paid to go see.
First concert I attended, it was John Prine
Okay.
in Virginia. It was like somewhere in Virginia. I went with my parents,
Parents have good taste.
and it was, yeah, they do. It was the Fair and Square tour. And the first concert I paid for, oh man, I don't know. Like, I used to go see a bunch of free shows in college because I volunteered at this theater in town that had a bunch of people. So I never I don't think I paid to go to shows there, but I saw a lot of cool shows there. I saw like Blue Oyster Cult there one
wow.
year.
Well,
And I remember me
water.
and my friend snuck backstage and like took some of their wine and cheese and stuff.
You just want to get familiar with how to
And that was a lot of
craft a
fun.
rider,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like
I'm gonna
we
need
knew
this
we just
later.
like walked back there. Yeah. Like we knew all the people that worked there, so we just walked. There was like a door to backstage. We're like, you want to go backstage? We're like, yeah. So we just like went backstage. No one asked us any questions. Those are fun times
Yeah,
up in
absolutely.
Oneonta, New York.
There you go. So speaking of riders, I don't necessarily need to know what's on yours, but what would your ideal green room look like?
That's a good question. Yeah, something if there's food, have it be like light, like celery or something would be nice. Maybe some like almonds or something. And lately I've really taken to before I sing, I like to drink a little bit of whiskey,
Okay.
probably a bottle of Makers or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Good answer. Let's see here. A couple other ones. These are a little more odd, but you could have dinner with one historical figure. Who would you break bread with?
Oh man, that's an interesting question. Wow. I mean, there's so many. There's so many I could think. I mean, it would be interesting to sit down with like a politician and talk about today's world of politics. Maybe like JFK or somebody would be interesting to talk to,
Mhm.
That's some questions for him.
or like Martin Luther King or somebody like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Great answers.
Yeah.
yeah, it would be interesting to like compare worlds and be like, well, this is what's going on now.
Right. All right. How about let's see, bucket list venue? Maybe one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast.
Okay, East Coast, maybe
Or-
maybe like Webster Hall in New York.
Okay.
Um,
That's a good
West
answer.
Coast, like the Troubadour
Also a
would
good
be
answer.
cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. And then last question that I have, I want your take on tribute bands, yay or nay?
Tribute bands. You know, I don't know. Nay.
Nay.
Nashville, we see so many tribute bands. There's like a tribute show every other week, and a lot of times they're to people that aren't even dead. Like,
Oh yeah.
there's like, why not even wait till after they die? It's like, really another tribute show? And like, I don't know. I'm a little jaded on the tribute thing.
Understand.
Maybe because I never get invited to them. I don't know.
Oh. Hey,
Well, if there's
for all the
ever a
tribute
listen,
bands that watch the show, If y'all
Yeah.
could send Sophie an invite, maybe you can win her over.
If there's a Lucinda Williams tribute band,
Right.
give
There
I'd be
was
down
Sophie
for
there
a
that,
was a
call.
actually.
Lucinda tribute. There was a
Uh-oh.
Lucinda tribute in Nashville that I didn't get invited to, and I remember
What?
being really pissed about it.
Yeah, totally
Yeah.
get it.
But
Okay.
no hate to anybody that's in a tribute band. I
For
probably
sure.
just jaded.
Well,
Understood.
good news, you successfully passed the rapid fire, and we are
All right.
on to the last question of the evening.
Well, speaking of Lucinda tributes, if I say, give me a underloved Lucinda song that you like that might not be on the top 5 or whatever on Spotify.
It's one called "Sharp Cutting Wings," "Song to a Poet."
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
well done.
Mine would be something about what happens when we talk. I love that
Oh,
song. Love that
good
song.
one. Yeah, that's a
Um,
great one.
All right. Well, this is the final question and the most important question. But before we get to that, make sure you go follow Sophie on wherever you're streaming music. Go hit the follow button wherever on all your socials. Go and give her a follow. And when she makes posts, actually, hit the likes and comment and interact. Help artists out when they spend the time to make content. Um, uh, Help the homies out and spread the the content and help them out some. All right, Sophie, this is I don't know. I mean, you've been in Nashville for a little while, so you've probably heard of these these. So we'll see. So Sophie, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
What do you call them? Hostesses?
The Hostess is another
The
brand
chocolate
of
with
cake.
Little
That's
Debbie. Oh,
they're
Swiss
the
rolls.
yeah.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Got a
There
winner.
you
Is
go.
that a Little Debbie?
It
Yep.
is.
Swiss rolls.
Much
Those
success.
are my favorite. Yeah.
They're making a comeback as well.
They are.
All right. We were just
Folks,
trying to
thank
think
you.
of the biggest Dollar General kind of question we could come up with, and that was the best I
That's
There
great.
is a
yeah.
Mason-Dixon line for
Yeah. It does seem that way.
Little Debbie's, but
We didn't think about that when I come up with the question
no, we
a
did
year
not.
ago.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Sophie, thank you so much for hanging with us, folks. We appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know this is how y'all want to spend your Tuesday evening, but Sophie, you are the one that made it happen, so we appreciate that. We will ask you to hang tight for just a second, Sophie, before we go out, but see y'all. We'll be back
It was a
tomorrow, 8
lot of
o'clock.
fun. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, really
No
enjoyed
problem.
that.
No problem.
Thank you.